A warm welcome to all the students out here. Today we are going to discuss the English paper for all the 12th standard students. We will start with the contents of the English textbook. We start right away. So here we have 4 sections for the English paper. The first is prose section, second is poetry, then we have the writing skills, and then we have the novel section. So we have 8 chapters in the prose section and 8 poems in the poetry section. And writing skills, we have 6 topics, but you all remember whatever we did in 11th standard, all those topics, all those writing skills that we had in 11th standard, even those topics are going to be included in the third section, that is the writing skill part. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you is, you can see the third topic, they have written note making. You don't have any writing skill, any topic, any question asked on note making this year. You had it in 11th, but in 12th you don't have. Now, why this chapter you need to read? Because it's going to help you in mind mapping chapter, okay? As it is going to help you in the second chapter, do schools really kill creativity, that is mind mapping. It's going to help you in that chapter. That's why you just need to read the chapter of note making also. Clear? And then in section 4, we have the novel part, wherein you have To Serve with Love, Around the World in 80 Days, and The Sign of 4. History of novel is going to be purely objective based. Remember, no one is going to ask you big questions for history of novel. Neither the passage is going to be typed for you. Like in prose, you have the passage typed. Even in poetry, you have the poem printed. Remember, in poetry section, they are not going to give you the name of the poem. Neither are they going to give the name of the poet. You need to by heart all those things. Okay. So these are the chapters. We move on to the next slide. The next slide is going to talk about the overall evaluation. We have 80 marks written paper and 20 marks oral test will be there. Okay. Next slide. Now, this is a slide which is going to show you the distribution of marks as per the sections, as per the questions, and as per the objectives. Okay. So in distribution of marks as per the sections in the activity sheet, we have prose, which carries 34 marks, and poetry carries 14, writing skills carries 16 marks, and novel as a genre carries 16. So when you total it up, you'll get it to 80 marks. Okay. Now here you will see they have written 48. 48 is, this means like there are only 4 options. Okay. Out of the 4, you have to, in each division, you have to attempt any one. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 will give you 16. So total, if you are going to add everything, only then it comes up to 48. You have to attempt any one in each section. There will be 4 sections. Next, we move on to the distribution of marks as per the questions in the activity sheet. So objective type questions, like you will have grammar. Grammar, you can include that in objective types. Short answer types will be your 2 marks questions, wherein you'll be, sometimes you're tested for personal response questions or any question based on the extract given to you, seen or unseen. And then long answer types would include writing skills. You have 4 marks for each question, writing skill section. And then even appreciation carries 4 marks. So those will be considered as long answer types. Nowhere in the English paper you're going to have any question, more than 4 marks. There's no 5 marks question, no 6 mark questions. Highest is 4. Okay. So now if you add up all these, marks, it comes up to 80. Let's move on to the distribution of marks as per the objectives in the activity sheet. Now, your knowledge and understanding will be tested, 33 marks. Now, application, 23, skills, 11, and creativity, 13. Now, all this you have to consider for all the sections. It includes all the sections, your understanding, your applications, skills, and creativity. Creativity, for example, you have to write your own poetic lines, which comes in the poetry section. So all that, if you add up again, it comes up to 80 marks. Now, the next slide we have the activity sheet format. Now this will include your question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have, in total, we have 5 questions. Now the first question, we will have 2 subdivisions. One is A, one is B. Now in A, they are going to speak about, they're going to give you the scene extract. Now scene extract means they are going to give you the chapter that you have been studying throughout the year. By the way, remember your exams are on 11th February. It's just a month to go. So you need to read all the chapters immediately. Okay, so the first question will be tested on your global understanding. Next is complex factual. Then we have inference, personal response, language study, and vocabulary. So all these questions will carry 2 marks each. So total we'll be having 6 questions here, each carrying 2 marks. So question 1A will carry in total 12 marks. Then we'll be having language study, and this is non-textual grammar. See, textual grammar will come in A5. Okay, here in A5. And here you will see non-textual grammar, which carries 4 marks. Spot the error. Now there is no option in grammar, remember that. You know, alternatives will be given to you. Now again, for spot the error, there is no alternative, remember that. Usually what children do in spot the error, they try to label the mistake, they try to, underline or put an arrow mark and, tell the teacher that this is the mistake. No, you just have to write the correct statement. Just write the correct answer for spot the error. Even in other grammar questions, remember, you don't have to write the question. Sometimes children write the question. You just write the answer. You only have to write the answer in the grammar question. Okay. Next is question 2A. Now here you're going to have an unseen passage. An unseen passage will be asked in question 2A. Okay. It's not from the textual. It is non-textual, and unseen passage will be asked. Again, it will be based similarly how you have been tested for question 1A. Similarly, here also, the testing pattern is similar. Again, global understanding, complex factual, inference, personal response, language study, and vocabulary. Again, there'll be 6 questions. So you will have 12. By the way, the word limit of the extract is 275 to 300 words. You already have been doing this in your 11th standard. You have already done. So you know the length of the passage. Okay. Now, one more thing I wanted to tell you regarding personal response. Okay, personal response question. It is a question wherein you have to, write, you have to give your response, whether it's yes or no. And you have to justify why you're saying yes, whether you're agreeing. Justify if you're agreeing, justify if you're disagreeing. The teacher is going to see how well you have written the answer. Okay, she's going to see your response. And no one will get 2 out of 2. The highest mark will be 1.5. 1.5 is the highest for personal response question. Now here, if you write the correct answer in global understanding, complex factual, inference, analysis, here you can get full marks. Even in grammar, you can get full marks. But in personal response questions, you will only get 1.5 out of 2. And in global understanding and complex factual, when you get web diagrams, flow charts, or a tree diagram, okay, you need to use a pen. You can't use a pencil to draw a web diagram or a flow chart. Nowhere in the paper actually you're going to use a pencil for drawing diagrams. So you have to use a pen and see that you draw the box a little bigger so that your answers will fit inside the box. Also remember, you have to only give points. You can't write a sentence inside the box. Only points will be mentioned. No need to put bullet points also. And see that you don't go beyond the margin, above the margin, below the margin. Okay, don't go beyond the margin at all. Okay. So this carries, yeah. So question 2A will carry 12 marks. Let's move on to B. B is summary writing. Children, it carries 3 marks, remember. Some children think it's 4. No, summary writing carries 3 marks. Even mind mapping carries 3 marks. So let's move on to summary writing first. Now, summary writing, when you're going to write summary writing, you have to be very careful. You're going to read the same matter, the same unseen passage that you have, the answers that you've written for question 2A over here. That same unseen passage you have to summarize. The same passage has to be summarized. So when you're going to summarize the same passage, maybe you can just make you can underline the important points in your question paper. If you wish to do one more thing, it's allowed in the exam, in the board exam. You can also use the last sheet of your paper for your rough work. So if you want to write any points for summary writing, use the last sheet of your paper, of your answer paper for the important points for summary writing. Otherwise, you can also underline the main points in the question paper itself. So if you wish for a rough work in English paper, anytime you need a rough work, last page, you can use it as a rough sheet. And remember your rough sheet, there, when you're going to write something, don't write it with a pen. Better is to use a pencil. Only for rough sheet, you can use a pencil. Otherwise, it will confuse the examiner, what has this child written? So don't write with a pen, okay, for rough sheet. Writing a title is mandatory for summary writing. Children usually forget. Please write a title, give a title to it. And only important points, you have to reduce the length of the passage, isn't it, of the extract. It has to come up to 1/3 of the passage. Remember that. And there are children who keep on writing and writing and writing. It's a summary writing question. You can't go on, increasing the length of the passage. It should at least come up to somewhere between 8 to 12 lines. Somewhere in between 8 to 12 lines would be a proper length for a summary writing. Okay. So do this well. This is not a very easy question to do. Please, you need a lot of practice for summary writing. Okay. Don't go overboard. Now, next is mind mapping. Mind mapping, presentation is very important in mind mapping. Again, it carries 3 marks like the summary writing, 3 marks for mind mapping. Now, here there are 2 ways of drawing a mind mapping. You either draw after you finish drawing the main topic, you draw 4 branches, and for 4 branches, for each main branch, you have to draw 2 sub branches. Let me just explain it better. Okay, now, if this is the main topic, okay, the main topic you will write here, and then the 4 sub branches you will draw like this. Okay, it should be properly aligned. These are the 4 main branches, and then you will draw 2 sub branches also. So your points have to fit inside these boxes very well. Okay, now see that you align it properly. Now, if I have drawn the arrow mark here, so maybe I can do it like this. Okay. Now, when you're drawing these boxes, see that you don't go beyond the margin. Here, the left-hand side margin will be there. The left-hand side margin will be here. So don't go beyond the margin. Okay. So this is one way of doing. Okay. Okay. So this is one way of doing. I mean, the boxes have to be bigger. Okay. So now let me just rub this. I'll show you one more method of doing a mind mapping, which is much easier. Weaker students can go for the second method. The one that I showed you was the first method. The second method is you have to draw a circle. Again, write the main topic here. And then you go for spokes. I think 7 spokes or 8 spokes would be fine, because more than that, if you go to draw, there won't be any space left. Okay. Okay. So here you can enter your points inside these shapes. How many I have done? I have done 8. You can go for 7 spokes or you can go for 8. Don't go more than that, because you will not get space to draw. Either you will get any space to write inside the boxes. So this is another method of doing mind mapping. Okay, so I think weaker students can go for this method. Yeah. Now let me discuss the next one, the next slide. Remember, in mind mapping, children, after I finish the 4th section, I have given you some marking schemes for all the writing skills. Okay, writing skills. Okay, the 4th section. So there In the marking scheme, I have also added marking scheme for the summary writing as well as mind mapping. So there, when we go to that particular slide, I will tell you the marking scheme for summary writing and mind mapping as well. Okay, remember for mind mapping, presentation is very important. If it is not neatly presented, if your handwriting is bad, if it is not centrally aligned, then you are going to lose marks. So presentation for mind mapping is very, very important. Now the next slide we are going to move on to. Yeah, so we are done with question 2. Question 2 in total we had 18 marks if you noticed. ABC, so 12 plus 3 plus 3. Okay. 1 minute, let me just go to the previous slide. Okay. Question 2, A, B, C. We had A 12 marks, then 3, 3. So 12 plus 3 plus 3, we have 18. And here we had how much? 16 marks. So question 1, 16, question 2, 18 marks. Now the next slide, we are going to see poetry in the next slide. Okay. Here, children, we are going to give you the poem, okay? The poem is going to be printed. The poem is going to be printed. The name of the poem won't be given. The name of the poet also won't be given to you. So you have to by heart the names of all the poems and all the poets. Sometimes children, they just write anything, you know. They forget the name of the poet. So then Edgar Guest becomes Edward Guest sometimes. So please learn the spellings and names of all the poets and the title of all the poems. Question 3. There will be 5 questions. It carries 10 marks. B is appreciation, 4 marks. Let's move to the A part. You have global understanding, inference, personal response, poetic device, and then creativity. Okay. So again, they may ask you in the form of global understanding and analysis can be asked in the form of a web diagram or a flow chart again, if they wish to do so. And then personal responses again there in the poetry section. So you'll be having only 2 poems. One will come for discussion based on these activities. Second is for appreciation. So 2 poems is surely going to come. Poetic device, in poetic device, you may get rhyme scheme or figure of speech or any other kind of question. Imagery, you know, pick out the imagery, all those things. Creativity, 2 marks, carries 2 marks. You have to create your own poetic lines for the 5th question. Okay. You can rhyme the poem. If you're not going to rhyme, that is also fine. That is also fine. Remember, again, the highest marks for creativity, for poetic creativity is again 1.5. You won't get 2 out of 2. Now, other things, if you write correctly over here, A, B, C, D, you can get 2 out of 2. But here, the highest mark is 1.5, even if it is the best one. And usually I see children in the classroom, they hesitate to write a poetic, they hesitate to write poetic lines. But as an exam day, they all become great poets. I wonder how they do that. So don't worry for this. You can all do it. You can compose poems because there's exam pressure, no? All the lines come in your mind. Let's move on to the appreciation part. Carries 4 marks. Now here in poetic appreciation, let me tell you children, remember, you have to write 6 points. Okay. In the exam, suppose if they ask you to write an appreciation on a particular poem. Now what you're going to do is you are going to you're going to write on all the 6 points in 6 different paragraphs. Only if they ask you write the appreciation. In case if they ask you to write on any 4 points, for example, sometimes in the board paper, they give you the 4 points. Okay. Write on poem, poet title. Then they will ask you the theme. Then they will ask you poetic devices. They may not ask you special features. Then they may ask you message and they may not ask you opinion. So it depends on them. If they are going to ask you in 4 different points, you will write it in 4 different paragraphs. Only for those points. Okay, 4 points, 4 paragraphs. If they are asking 5 points, then 5 different paragraphs. You have written 5 different paragraphs. If they are not going to ask you anything, if they're just simply putting up a question saying that just write an appreciation, then you only have to write in 6 different paragraphs. Okay, all those 6 points which are required for an appreciation of a poem, You will write it in 6 different paragraphs. And remember, whenever you're writing figures of speech, the first letter of a figure of speech always has to be in capital letter. Usually children don't do that, they forget. And even I have seen that children don't know the spellings also sometimes. Learn the proper spellings of all the figures of speech. And it is not compulsory to explain the figure of speech in an appreciation. It's not compulsory. Sometimes, like in the first poem, Song of the Open Road, okay, I still carry I carry the delicious burdens, okay, burden. So that is a paradox. So that's a very important figure of speech in that particular poem. So sometimes a very prominent, important, significant figure of speech, if you come across in a particular poem, then maybe you can just explain it. You know, if you are short of any points for that particular paragraph, you can explain it. Otherwise, explaining the figure of speech in a poem is not at all required in appreciation. Here, if they ask you in question 3A, if they ask you to explain and identify, you need to explain. Now, see, if figure of speech comes in question in the A part, in A division, then you have to identify also and explain also. Sometimes children will only identify. No, you need to explain the figure of speech also. That's in A. But in B, it's not required. Don't explain. Only if it's very prominent, very important, then you can explain. Another thing I would like to mention is when you are going to write, suppose, for example, if you want to mention any imagery, there's really no need to explain the imagery over here. You can mention that there is imagery seen in the poem. Suppose, what if a child forgets all the figures of speech in a particular poem? What is a child supposed to do? Don't worry. You know a few important figures of speech like simile, metaphor, alliteration, repetition, okay, antitheses, okay. So what you do is you see the poem is going to be printed. Just see the poem and see whether any figure of speech you know, and then you can write. In appreciation, you only have to write 3 to 4, maximum 5 figures of speech, not more than that. So you see the poem and then you write. Don't get tensed, because I know children have to learn 8 poems, you know. They need to learn the appreciation for all the 8 poems. So they may be wondering, what's the figure of speech for a particular poem? So don't get tensed at all. Don't worry. You see the poem which is going to be printed. Don't worry for that. So you see the poem, read the poem and mention the figures of speech. Okay. Yes, so that's for the poetry section. So total, we have 10 plus 4. A is 10. And in appreciation, we have 4 marks. So 10 plus 4, we have 14 marks over here. Let's move on to the next section, that is question 4. The most important section in the English paper, if you see, wherein children struggle. Now, one thing that I want to tell you is, you may be coming across various formats for the different figures of speech. Sorry, not figures of speech, writing skills, I'm sorry. So what do you have to do is, whatever your teacher has taught you, okay, you learn that format. It will be different in different digests, it will be different in different other resources from wherever you get, okay, different resources. You may be researching. Your friend may be having a different format, but just learn the proper format which your teacher has given you in your college. Let's move on to this important section, question 4A. Now, question 4A will have 3 questions. Question B will have 3. Question C also will have 3. And D also will have 3 questions. Now, from each section, okay, from each division, let me call division, okay. A division, you have 3 questions. You have to attempt any one, okay. Similarly for the next one. Similarly for C and similarly for D. So if you're going to attempt any one in each of the divisions, in total you have to answer 4 questions. And see that you take only 10 minutes for one writing skills. And you know, just before we end, I'm also going to discuss about the time management. Okay, one slide is just purely for time management, wherein we'll be discussing how many minutes you have to give for each section. Okay, so just wait for that. So in total, we'll be having 16 questions, because each question, each division is going to carry 4 marks. Okay. So first we have drafting virtual messages. Second is statement of purpose. Next is group discussion. 4 marks for that. Any one you have to attend. Second is email writing, report writing, and interview writing. Now in email writing, they may ask you letter writing also. If letter writing comes, don't worry. What you have learned it in school, you can write that same format, what you have learned in school. Now email writing usually is asked in board, okay? Usually they ask you email writing. So the third is speech, okay, speech writing. Next is art of comparing. In C, we have art of comparing. And the third is expansion of idea. In D, we have review, film review, or book review, or document review also may come. Then we have blog writing, and then we have appeal writing. Okay, leaflet writing or appeal writing or poster making all come under the same group. Okay, now what I wish to do is, for some writing skills, I would like to show you how you need to go for the format. Okay. The first one is virtual message. Now for virtual message, see, remember children, for certain writing skills, you need to draw a box. An outline is required. And for the very first one, that is virtual message, you need a box. Okay. You need to draw with a scale, right? An exam, please use a proper scale. And okay, one more thing. Try not to draw the last line because you don't know where you're going to end, right? Always in a writing skill, wherever you need an outline to be drawn, sorry, don't draw the last line. Clear? Now for virtual message, remember in any writing skill, presentation is very important. So see that you keep leaving lines after you write your matter. Now here you're going to talk about the date. Now your exam is on 11th February. Yeah, 11th February. Okay. So you will write 11th February. You need to write the whole spelling, children. And it's going to be 2025. Now the same line, you will write the time. Okay. Now you don't have to mention DATE date and then TIME time. Just write the time. For example, it's 12:30. Okay. Maybe you will reach this section, whatever. This much space should be left. Okay. Space should be left in between the date and in between the time. Remember to put a dot after P and dot after M. If it is AM, A dot, M dot. Okay. So this is done. Now leave a line. Okay. You leave a line. I'm just drawing this. This means I'm leaving a line or one minute. I'll just draw a wavy line. Okay. Okay. My wavy line indicates that I'm leaving a line. Okay. And then you write the name of the receiver to whom you're writing the giving the message. Okay, you need to give a message, isn't it? Then you leave a line again and write the matter. Your matter will come up to a few lines. Then you leave a line and then write the name of the sender. And then leave a line. It will look neat. There's no compulsion, but because it will look neat, you need marks, right, for presentation, children. So leave a line after giving up all the details. So here we go. We have the date. We have the date and little space you will leave and then write the time. Then leave a line, write the name of the receiver. Now here you're going to write the name of the receiver. For example, Rahul. You're not going to write what I have written. You're not going to write these words, name of the receiver. You're going to write Rahul, then write the matter. Now in the matter, you have to mention all the points that is given. You can't exclude any important points. So reading the matter is very important. See, the matter will be given to you in the form of a conversation, okay, any dialogue, or just they will ask you, this is the situation, they'll give you a situation and then write a message. You have enough questions in your brainstorming section if you go to see, okay? Many samples are there. Okay, so then This is the matter. Write all the matter. Okay, all the details of the matter. Don't exclude anything. Include all the details. Then leave a line. Then after you leave a line, again, you will not write the name of the, sorry, you will not write the name of the sender in words. You will just write the proper name of the child, okay? Whether it's mother, father, whatever. So yes, so Rahul, I have to write Rahul over here and then I can write Seema, whatever is the name. Remember, after you're done, you can just close the box now. Now, this is a very, let me tell you, it's a very easy writing skill. You can go for this because it doesn't take much time, okay? Virtual message doesn't take much time. Plus, the word limit is only 50 words. Doesn't take much time, plus 50 words. So it's better to go for this virtual message. Like weaker students can go for this particular writing skill. Go for this. Go for virtual message. And you can finish it fast also. One more thing is, if you have not understood, suppose if any child has not understood the message, the child has absolutely not understood the message. This happens, let me tell you. If he has not understood, it's better not to attempt at all. There's no need to attempt virtual message if you have not understood who's giving the message to whom, who's receiving, who's sending. If you have not understood, don't write. Because you know what? You will lose a lot of marks in this. You'll be only left out with half a mark, maybe just for drawing the box or just writing the date and this, that's it. Half mark or 1 mark you'll get. Because if you're writing the message incorrectly, if you're sending and receiving it incorrectly, the major chunk is gone. You have not understood the message. Who's giving to whom? This also happens. So weaker students, only if you have understood, then go for this writing skill. Otherwise, don't attempt this message. आपको अगर समझा ही नहीं है कि कौन किसको message दे रहा है, don't attempt it. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Otherwise, virtual message is a very super easy writing skill. Next is SOP. Now in SOP, children, in SOP, that is statement of purpose. Statement of purpose, we have to write it in 5 different paragraphs. Okay. Okay. So 5 different paragraphs. Now you are actually trying to apply for a particular course in a particular university, in a particular institution. So you have to write what your aim of life is. Okay. And what inspired you. Some example you can give, what, what triggered you in your life. Okay. What made you feel that, I should pursue a particular course. Then you can talk about your extracurricular activities and your hobbies, all those things. Okay. Then in the end, maybe in your 4th and 5th paragraph, you need to write that I'll do my best. You have to convince the judge, the person who's going to read your statement of purpose. Okay. The person, the judge or the committee who's going to read your statement of purpose must be convinced that, you can do it. We can give you, admission to our, to this particular course in our institution, that the child can do his best or her best. So writing a statement of purpose requires a lot of attention because you cannot make any spelling mistakes. Okay. No grammatical error, your sentence structure, spellings, everything should be perfect over here. No mistakes at all. Very important. Okay. So if you're very well versed how to write a statement of purpose, then you can go for it. Okay. If you really know how to write it in 5 different paragraphs. Now when you go for a statement of purpose, it will usually, for a normal handwriting also, I think it will come up to 1 page. Sometimes children can go overboard. It goes on to the next page also. Because if you have that much matter to write in your statement of purpose. Okay, so in the exam, a situation will be given. You can't write a statement of purpose on any topic. A situation will be given. What if you want to become, a creative writer or a mechanical engineer, okay, or a civil engineer or an actor or whatever. So the situation will be given to you in the statement of purpose, and only then you will write it in 5 different paragraphs. And in the textbook, if you see, they are giving you 2 examples also. So you can read those examples. Next, we have group discussion. Okay, now sometimes children also ask, ma'am, should we write it in the traditional way by leaving 2 fingers distance, for any writing skill? Even in appreciation, they will ask. So even in appreciation, in the poetry section, if you want to leave 2 fingers distance and write the 6 different paragraphs, you can do it. Or if you're writing the IG way is, touching the left-hand side margin. If you're writing paragraphs in such a way, see that you leave a line in between the paragraphs. Okay, in between the paragraphs, you need to leave a line if you're writing the IG way. That is, if you're touching the left-hand side margin. Clear? Now, even for our writing skills, if there is any writing skill which requires writing it in the form of a paragraph, then you can use either the IG way or you can use leaving 2 fingers distance. Okay, that is also allowed. Now, first we saw drafting virtual message. Now there everything has to be on the left hand side margin. See, in writing skills, in certain writing skills, certain writing skills will require you to start from the left hand side margin. Certain writing skills will require you to write it in a paragraph form. It can be any way. Okay, so now virtual message, like I drew it for you, so you saw that everything I had done it on the left hand side margin. Touch the margin. Statement of purpose, any form is okay. You can write the 5 paragraphs in IG way or the traditional way by leaving 2 fingers distance. Next is group discussion. So you are either writing virtual message or SOP or GD, that is group discussion. Now again, GD, group discussion, is a very important and interesting writing skill. Children usually love to do this. Like in oral test, teachers, for we have 10 marks for speaking, isn't it? So for speaking, we can take up this group discussion for 10 marks each for speaking skills. Okay, yeah. So now in GD, we can come up to maybe 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 characters. Okay, just there should be a dialogue in between 3 to 5 characters, not more than that. Okay, more than that, it will not look good. And as it carries 4 marks, remember, 2 dialogues are already set. One is for the evaluator. The first dialogue has to be said by the evaluator. And second last is also by the evaluator. Okay, so 2 dialogues for the evaluator. He's going to speak in the beginning. Remember, he's going to speak in the beginning. And he is going to speak just before the main person, whoever is the monitor, before he speaks. That means the second last dialogue. So the first dialogue and the second last dialogue will be that of an evaluator. Okay? And rest, the characters, whoever is going to be in the group discussion, they are going to speak. Now remember, in a group discussion, children, the person who's going to see a group, the group discussion, okay, the judge who's going to judge you, the committee who's going to see you, okay, he's going to give you marks based on your communication skills, okay, your teamwork, okay. Are you going to sort of, interfere with the other person, not allow him to speak, and then you're going to just put your point? He's going to check that. So a list of expressions has been given in the textbook if you've seen that chapter. So go through all the list of expressions, before you go for your written paper also, before you go for an oral test also. Go through all the list of expressions that is given in a GD, given in a group discussion, okay? Because that is going to help you. Now, even when you write, and even in your written paper, okay? Even in your written paper, when you're going to write, the examiner, the first thing that he's going to do is, he's going to see whether the child has used the list of expressions in a GD. If you have not used the list of expressions in the group discussion, you will lose marks, because only writing the matter is not important. Okay. See, sometimes you may agree to a particular person, sometimes you may disagree with the contestant. Okay, if you are going to agree, so what are the list of expressions that you will use? You will say, okay, I agree. I am of the opinion. I agree to this person. Okay, I agree to Rahul. Okay, okay. If you want to disagree, then you can say, I'm sorry, I have a different opinion, or I disagree to this particular viewpoint. Okay, this is the way you need to speak. So your mannerisms, your gestures, your body language, the way you communicate, the knowledge that you have when you're writing a group discussion, these are the things that the examiner is going to see. So I think roughly 4 to 5 characters would be enough, because you have 2 dialogues for the evaluator also, right? So for a 4 marks question, 2 dialogues are already gone. So maybe you can in total add up to 5 to 6 dialogues, or more than that is also fine, provided you have enough time to write. And remember, I told you for each writing skill, at least keep 10 minutes for each writing skill. So in case, see, it's not mandatory that if you have 4 characters, the first character has to be given two dialogues. The second has to be given 2. The third has to be given 2. No, nothing like that. One person, okay, for example, let us imagine Mr. A. If Mr. A is going to speak, only if he is having only 1 dialogue, B can have 2. Okay, or B can have 3 also. It depends. It's not compulsory that everyone should have a stipulated number of dialogues. 2, 2, 2. ऐसे नहीं. No, not required. One can speak just once. The second character can speak, can have 2 dialogues. The third person can have again 1. The next person can have 4, but not all. You understand the flow. A will speak, then again A will not speak. B will speak. Then C will speak, then D will speak. After A and B, again A also can speak after B. So that is up to you. You know how to go about it. So see the flow, check the flow and the sequence. Checking the flow and sequence in all the writing skills is very important. Okay, I think enough discussion was done for question 4A. Okay. I'm just remembering whether I'm okay. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you about A. Let's move on to B. Now in B, we have email. The first question is email writing, 4 marks. You can attempt email writing or report writing or interview. Now in email writing, everything has to be written on the left-hand side margin. Everything means everything. Like, I'll tell you. By the way, drawing an outline is optional. Okay. You want to draw an outline for email writing, you can. Otherwise, you can just leave. It's not mandatory to write it in a box format. There are some children who would like to write details about trash, inbox, all those things, compose all those things. Those children will require a box format. But otherwise, mentioning those details is not necessary. The board is not going to cut your marks. Okay. I'll just teach you a very simple way of writing an email writing. Now I'm going to draw the margin. Okay. If this is our margin, you can start writing to, from. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then here you're going to write the subject, right? Okay. Children, when you're writing the subject, see that your subject is not a full sentence. Sometimes children write a full sentence. Only 3 to 4 words is important. That's it. 3 to 4 words. For example, inquiry. Okay. It can be an inquiry. It can be a complaint. It can be a request. Okay. Whatever it is, just write inquiry for whatever. Complaint for, the potholes in the street. Request for, some holiday or whatever. This is it. This is so simple. Subject has to be written in this way. Now here you're going to write the email address to and from. You can either place from, above, or anything is fine. That's fine. The order is fine. So write the email address here. email address has to be written. Okay, the proper email address into and from. Okay, who is receiving, who is sending will be written above. In case, some children also ask, ma'am, can we write from after the mail? That is also fine. But still, you just write to and from over here. Okay, the first thing the teacher is going to read is this part. Okay. Now, after subject, again, leave a line. You know why I'm asking you to leave lines everywhere? Only because it looks neat. Actually, there is no compulsion because presentation matters. That's why when you leave a line, it looks neat. After subject, you're going to write the salutation. Okay. Salutation means dear sir or whatever, sir or madam or manager. Okay. Now, again, you can leave a line here. It will look neat. You're leaving a line and then children, you're writing the first paragraph. See, did you notice that everywhere I am using the left hand side margin. Everything I'm starting from the left hand side margin. Sometimes what happens, children, they forget, they lean and then they go. They go to the right hand side, the center side, all those things. Please strictly use the left hand side margin for a email writing. First paragraph is done. Leave a line. Second para. Leave a line. Third para. Okay. I'll be rubbing because I want to use the board again. So first para, leave a line. Second paragraph, leave a line. Third paragraph, again, leave a line. You simply have to remember that you have to leave lines everywhere. Just remember like that I'm leaving the line everywhere. After to, after from, after subject, after dear sir, that is salutation, after all the paragraphs. Okay. In between the paragraphs, I'm leaving. The only one thing where we don't leave is when we come to the signature part. Okay. We are coming to that, right? Now we'll be coming to the signature part itself. So I finished drawing the the 3 paragraphs. Okay. Okay. So now, after the third paragraph is done, see, I'm writing this third paragraph again. After the third paragraph is done, you're going to write thanking you, right? Or you will write looking forward for your reply, thanking you in anticipation, whatever you're going to write. Okay, thanking you in anticipation is a better way to write. Better you write thanking you in anticipation. It looks good. Okay, thanking you in anticipation. Put a full stop. After this, children, leave a line. You're leaving a line, and then, in case you have to see what the topic is, you have to read the topic properly, understand what is given. If they have given you, a topic, if it requires an enclosure, okay, if it requires an enclosure, then you need to write a line over here after writing thanking you in anticipation. You need to write, please find attached the following document. Okay, you need to write this. Please find attached the following document. If it is an image, then you will mention, please find attached the following image. Okay, whatever it is, image, doc, PDF, that you have to write. Now again, leave a line. After leaving a line, we start with the signature. This is called the signature. A signature means it includes all this. It doesn't include your real signature. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're writing your name, address, and contact number. Okay. You have to see whether it is whether the topic demands for the address and contact. Otherwise, sometimes some topics only will require the name. Okay. So in case if name, in case of the address and contact is required, you just place it immediately after the name. So now here we are not going to leave any lines. Okay. After contact only we will leave a line. So this is the signature part. Now what I've drawn here, or what I've written here, is the signature part. Okay. Name, yours sincerely, name, address, contact. Have I left any line over here? Did you notice? I haven't. It will look neat. Don't leave any lines over here. Rest everywhere you're leaving. So after the signature part is done, if there is an enclosure, okay, you will write in the end, after leaving the line, you will write enclosure. Okay. I'm not rubbing because I want to explain. See, put 2 colons, write enclosure and put 2 colon and then write doc. That's it. Okay. If it is an image, PDF, whatever, you see whatever it is. Now here, children, remember, in case if they don't give you a topic which requires an enclosure, then you will skip this line. You will skip this line. Please find attached the following. This line you will skip, and also this last line, enclosure doc. This also you will skip. Okay. If the topic demands for an enclosure, then this line you will write after thanking you, and here in the end you will write enclosure. Okay. So that's for email writing. Okay. Now, after this, we have after email, we have the report writing thing. Okay. Now, in report writing, we need to write everything on the left-hand side margin again. Okay. The details on the left-hand side margin. We don't have to sort of draw an outline for this. Okay. Outline doesn't have to be drawn. So we are going to start with, I'm drawing the margin, children. You will start with the title. A title has to be given. There's a own title has to be formed. Again, the title will be in 3 to 4 words. Not more than that. We don't require a sentence in a title. See that your title is carrying only 3 to 4 words. Okay. Then you're going to start your report writing by leaving a line. Here you're going to write the date. Okay. For example, 11th February, Dadar, Mumbai. Now here, you're not going to mention the date. In report writing, sorry, not the date, the year. In report writing, you're not going to mention the year. Okay. You're just writing the date, and below, exactly below that, don't leave a line. Exactly below that, write the name of the place. So I left a line after writing the title, and then I'm writing the date, and then I'm writing the name of the place, and then I'm leaving a line. After I leave a line, I start with the first paragraph. Now, in the first paragraph, like everyone knows, you're going to mention what happened, where it happened, and when it happened. Now, if your date is 11th February, now here the date in the first paragraph will not be 11th February. It will be either 9th or 10th. Remember that. Your date will be either 9th or 10th. Okay? Yeah? Then leave a line. You know why we are leaving line? Because this is the IG way. We are using the left-hand side margin. So, in between paragraphs, we have to leave a line. So now your second paragraph will talk about the details of the incident. Okay, what you witnessed. All those things will come in the second paragraph. So 2 paragraphs are enough for a report writing. Okay, so it's not mandatory to, you know, draw an outline, a box for report writing. Now the next one is interview writing. Interview writing. We have 2 tables to draw. Okay. One is the first table which has only 4 points. You're not going to mention the points. You're only writing as it is. Okay. Now these questions will be given to you. You have to write the answers on the right hand side. Okay. On the right hand side, you're going to write the answers. These are the answers. You're going to write the answers over here. Like first is name of interviewee. Second will be, let me just write fast. Name of interviewee, area of success. Okay. And then here you have, duration is here. And here we have the time, venue. Okay. And date. Date comes first, then venue, and then time. Okay. Now, when you're writing this third section, see that you have enough place because this third section requires a lot of place because you need to write the date and venue and time. Okay, and then the duration. Don't keep it for 1 or 2 hours. Sometimes you don't write 2 hours. 30 to 40 minutes is enough for the duration part. Then leave a line and write questions. Okay, after you leave a line, write questions and then draw the second table. Now the second table has to be numbered. Okay. For example, I'm asking family support. Okay. Family support, if this is your first question. Now you have to frame a statement first and then a question. Frame a statement and then a question. Don't forget to punctuate. Okay. Usually children forget to put a question mark. So first point is family support. And then your answer comes here. There's no need to put number 1 over here. Numbers you'll only put on the left hand side. So all the details on the left hand side will be given to you in exam. You have to just enter the right hand side details. Clear? In 1 year, I don't remember which paper it was, they had not given you both the tables. So in such a case, it's better you by heart all the details that are given in the first and second table. Okay, what if they don't give you the details on the left hand side? Usually they give. If they don't give you, then you'll have to write, you'll have to by heart everything at home and then appear for the exam, isn't it? So better is you learn all the points of which is given on the left hand side and then appear for your exam. It just happened once, it didn't happen again and again, so don't worry. Mostly it will be given to you, okay? But to be on the safer side, you by heart everything, the points also. And anyway, these points are going to differ for different topics, the left hand side details. Remember, nobody's going to answer. Huh? Your questions are your statements and then a question. Frame a proverb or something if you know about family, and then you can frame a question. For example, role model. Suppose second point is role model. Okay, so you can frame a sentence saying that, everyone has an inspiration in life. Who is your role model? Directly, you can't ask who is your role model. It becomes very simple. You won't get any marks for asking simple questions. So, right, everyone has an inspiration in one's life. So, who was your role model? Similarly, for the third, fourth, and everything. Okay. So, there are up to 8 questions. You'll be having 8 or 9 or 10. Okay, maximum 10. They sometimes ask, a set of 8 questions, sometimes 9 or sometimes 10. Now, question 4C, the first one is speech writing. Now, in speech writing, children, you need to write it in 3 different paragraphs. The first paragraph, there's a greeting. You need to greet your principal, your vice principal, or chief guest, whatever the topic is. You must know what the topic is. And then, my dear friends, okay, good morning, respected principal, vice principal, the chief guest, and my teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic on whatever is your topic. You say what is the topic, write the topic's name. That's it. That's your first paragraph. Second paragraph, you're going to talk about the problem, the solution, and convince the audience. Okay, your speech should convince the audience. They should get persuaded. They should get convinced hearing your speech. Like there should be a takeaway, message when they go home. The last paragraph is very simple. You're thanking the organizers and then you're thanking the audience. Okay. I thank the organizers for allowing me to speak on this particular topic today, or for sharing my views on this particular topic. Any one phrase you can use. And I thank the audience for their patient hearing. Patient hearing you use, or patient listening. Any one word you can use. Just don't write thank you. Sometimes children only write thank you. So write thank you for your patient hearing, or thank you for your patient listening. Okay. That's the way you end the speech writing. Remember, the examiner is also going to check whether you have been able to convince the audience in your second paragraph, and also whether you have used one or two rhetorical questions. Okay, using one or two rhetorical questions is mandatory in the second paragraph. Okay, so that's for speech writing. Next is art of comparing. Children, art of comparing, the sample that they have given you in your 11th standard book is perfect. Just remember that the details of the event has been little longer. So like, I remember the details of Lord Krishna and the Lavani performance. Okay, otherwise everything is perfect. Only the description of that is a little bit longer. Otherwise, the length of the whole art of comparing would be perfect, which is given in your 11th standard textbook. Okay, so you start with your lighting and then the introduction, then the events. I think for events, I think 2 to 3 or 4, 3 to 4 events would be perfect. For example, if it's an annual performance, okay, annual function, then it should come up to at least say I mean 2, 3 to 4 events. It's better. You need to applaud also after the program is finished. Then you need to applaud the performance also. So 3 to 4 performance, I think, would be fine. After that, when you have to end the art of comparing, you have to end it with a vote of thanks. Okay, so that's done for art of comparing. That's also very simple. You can go for art of comparing if you're not going for speech writing. Now, if you're not going for both, then you would opt for expansion of idea, which is the third question. Okay, the C third question, C part, C. Okay, C is the third option is expansion of idea. Okay, so there, expansion of idea, you have to mention it in 3 different paragraphs where you're supposed to give practical explanation of that particular idea of that particular proverb. Give your anecdotes, your examples. Okay, real life incidents also can be mentioned, and then you are going to end it very convincingly. Okay, the person who's going to read your expansion of idea should be convinced with the help of your examples. Okay, with the way of your writing style, your style is also going to be checked. Now here you can use good vocabulary, strong vocabulary words. Sometimes not in all writing skills you can use good vocab words. So here you can use an expansion of idea. If you have any strong vocabulary usage, if it is strong, if your vocab usage is strong, you can use that over here in expansion of idea. Next, we have question 4. We have blog writing, right? We have blog writing in question 4. Okay, so yes. Oh, before blog writing, we have film review. Let me talk about film review first. In film review, children, there are only 4 points which you have to remember. Okay, the first paragraph is going to speak about the name of the film. You have to mention the name of the film. Then the name of the producer, the name of the director, and you can mention 1 or 2, characters, the actors. And also you have to mention the year of release. This is what you're going to mention in the first paragraph. Then second paragraph will talk about the summary, the gist, in short, you can talk about the story of the film. Third paragraph will talk about the technical aspects. Technical aspects would include the music, okay, the setting, the action, the characterization. All these things come under technical aspects. The last paragraph talks about how you're going to rate it, whether you're going to recommend it, how the film was. Okay, so your rating will come under the 4th paragraph. So again, this is also very simple film review. See, those children who are not very confident in writing skills, they can by heart this. This is the only writing skill wherein you can by heart. Nowhere else you can by heart. So film review, book review, you can by heart this and go, because you don't know what they're going to ask you. There's no option between film and book review. They will either ask you film review or they'll ask you to review a book. So if you have been by hearting film review, and if book review comes, then you can't attempt that question. So better is to learn both, by heart both the film review and the book review. Now in book review also, children, the pattern is same. Like how I discussed for film review, the same 4 pattern would come in the book review also. Little bit it may differ because you are reading a book and you're writing, like music will not come. Not all technical skills will come. Okay. Now next is blog writing. Now in blog writing, you have to use a outline. Okay, a box format is required for blog writing. Now this has to be very neatly presented, children. See, I'm not drawing the last box because I don't know where I'm going to end, isn't it? So always avoid drawing the last box for any writing skill. Now here you're going to mention the website. These are the details of the header. Okay. Now whatever you're writing here, no, above are the details for the header. And below you're writing footer. As I'm not going to write anything on the board, I'm not going to enter the matter. I will be drawing the footer also. In footer, see, the most simple thing is to remember the details in the footer because there are only 2 points to remember. We have comments and date. Now here we have website and then we have compose. We have to write this compose HTML. Okay. You have to draw all these boxes. And here you're going to write the post title. You have to mention the title, okay, over here. Whatever title is there. The post title has to be mentioned here. Now here, you're going to write publish. Nice spelling. Okay. Now here it will be close. So these are all the details of the header that I'm drawing. Preview. Okay. Again, all these things will be drawn within individual boxes. Okay. Yeah. So this is the way the details of the header and footer is very important. Children, if you're not going to write the details of the header, if you're not going to write the details of the footer, and if you're just giving the information in the page, okay, in the center, just by writing the title and this is just the matter, you will not get marks. All these details are important. But in the exam, you're not going to write the word header, you're not going to write the word footer over here. We will understand. This is just for your information sake that I'm telling you that these are the details of the header. These are the details of the footer. Please don't give any comments also. Date you have to mention, by the way. Date you have to mention, okay, whatever date it is. But in comment section, just put colon, that's it. Don't give any real comments. Now here, again, you're going to enter the headline over here. Okay. The headline. And then here, suppose if you're writing it in a paragraph, see here, no, in blog writing, you can use any method. Children can write it in 3 different paragraphs, or you can just start with an introduction by giving it in a paragraph. And then if your topic demands some bullet points, you can write it in bullet points. Okay. Maybe then again, you can conclude with a paragraph, whatever. Okay. Depends on the topic. If you want to draw images, where will you draw? You'll get a place over here, whatever. If you want to draw a tree or something, wherever you get place usually you will get next to the headline. Okay, here on the right hand side and on the left hand side. Sometimes children just, they are so overwhelmed, they want to draw a diagram and that also a bigger diagram. So they will condense the matter. That shouldn't be done. And then they'll draw a big box over here in the center or side or whatever. Don't do that. For an image, see that you only take 3 lines, not 5, 6 lines. Don't keep on drawing for this diagram thing. You can't use a pencil again. No colors, no pen, no pencil. You have to draw the image with the pen itself. Remember that. Okay, so remember this blog writing is also very easy. But if you have forgotten the details in the header and footer, please don't go for blog writing because the format is very important. So the last line you will draw after you finish after you finish writing the matter. Okay. Now children, after we are done with blog writing, we are left with the last writing skill, that is the leaflet writing. Now in leaflet writing, box is very much required, very much required. Now this box, you can draw it in a very attractive way also. You can draw it, wavy also you can draw it. You can draw anyhow. There's no compulsion that you have to draw a straight line. Okay, so you can make your box attractive. Don't use a pencil again. You have to draw 1 or 2 images for leaflet also. Okay. Again, you will draw the image with the help of a pen, not a pencil. And here, remember to use nice, good slogans. By the way, you have to give a headline. You have to give a headline over here. Use good slogans and try to keep it centrally aligned because it looks neat, you know. Because central alignment, it looks nice. Central alignment, it's not compulsory, but it looks nice. When you're writing the slogans, it will look nice. Then maybe in the end, you have to give your contact, okay, the venue, contact, all those things. So here the examiner is going to see how you have been able to convince and persuade, okay, the person who's going to read your appeal. Have you been able to appeal the audience or the reader in reality? It should be that good, okay? And slogans, you just can't write one slogan, at least 2 or 3, okay? If you're able to do, okay? So yes, this will look very nice if you can go for appeal writing, leaflet writing, poster making, whatever it is. Now, let me talk about, we are done with the formats. We are done with the formats for the writing skill section. Now, this was the major part. A lot of discussion had to be done for this. We'll finish after this quickly. Other slides we'll finish faster. Remember in which areas you need to draw a box format. One is virtual message. Okay. Then 1 minute. Okay. Virtual message. Then interview writing. Okay. Interview writing. Then email is optional. Okay. For email, box format is optional. Then leaflet writing, appeal writing or leaflet also requires a box format. Okay. Where all your required images? In leaflet and images you require in leaflet and blog writing. Yeah. Blog writing also requires the box format, and here images. So whatever I'm drawing in a box means it requires a box. Okay, remember this. All these 4 require a box. This is compulsory. Email is up to you. It's optional. You want to draw a box, you draw. You don't want to draw a box, you don't draw. And images, where do you require images? In blog writing and in leaflet writing. Okay, just remember this. It's an easy way to remember. In which sections do you need to write a title, your own title? Remember that. That is in summary writing, okay, and report writing. Here you will have to write your own title. Now in speech writing, the title will be given, so you can write. Blog writing also, the title will be given. But in report and summary writing, you have to write your own title. Okay, your own title has to be given in these 2 areas. Remember that. Even in mind mapping, title is given. Only in these 2 areas, you can remember that you have to form your own title. That is summary writing and report writing. Let's slowly move on to the 5th section now. That's the novel section. Okay, now question 5, novel section. Here, activities on history of English novel. In English novel, again, the passage is not going to be typed. Okay, you have to write the answers in full. For example, if it's given in the form of fill in the blanks, Write the whole sentence. Children sometimes only write the answer. Suppose if it's true or false, only answer you can't write true or false. You have to write the whole sentence and then mention whether it is true or false. Okay? So it's very important. Write the whole fill in the blank, the whole true or false question, or if it's matched the column, you write the correct answer next to the first column. Just only don't write 1 is B, 2 is D. Don't only write that. Write both the details on both the columns, A and B. Okay? Write the correct answer. So match the column also has to be done. It has to be written. Even if they ask you in the form of name the following, write the full question and then name it. Okay? Then pick the odd one out. You have to pick it out. Sometimes they may ask you arrange in chronological order. Oh, that will come in the next section, not here. That is not objective, sorry. So let's see the second one. Now the second, that is question 5A, 2, 3 and 4. We have E.R. Breathwaite's To Serve with Love. So 2 questions will be asked there. Now like here I said, sometimes they may ask you in chronological order. That will come over here. Okay. Fill in the blanks will not come. Such objective questions will not come in second, third and fourth. It will only come in the first chapter. So arranging things in chronological order may come, or questions based on the elements of the novel, like plot. Then we have setting, we have the theme, we have the language, we have the style. All these things are, even characterization, character sketch, all these things would come under the elements of the novel. So questions will be based on the elements of the novel for the last 3 novels. Okay. Now, usually what happens, English is a lengthy paper. Okay. Now, this being a lengthy paper, children, they try to, they don't complete the paper. So my suggestion is, if you, in case if you don't get time to finish off the last answers, in the novel section, you have to go a little bit fast. You will have to write the earlier questions little, sometimes children, they write a very big answer for, To Serve with Love, suppose, plot of the novel. Plot of the novel, you should know how to write it in short if it comes. I know it's a big question, big answer you'll have to write, but write it in short because you don't have enough time. So initially you see that you write answers in small, okay, small, in a few points you write so that you give justice and equal weightage to the rest of the answers also. So that is the way you can complete your paper. Don't leave your paper incomplete. And like I told you, I'll be discussing about the time management. All your things will be clear, okay? Now let's move on to the next slide. The next slide is the marking scheme. Okay, now this marking scheme, like I told you, this marking scheme is for all the writing skills, okay? For virtual message, statement of purpose and group discussion, we have the same marking scheme. Like for content, 2 marks. The flow of ideas, 1 mark. Language usage, 1 mark for that. Then email also, content 2 marks. Proper format, 1 mark. Overall presentation, 1 mark. Now you will notice one thing, that most of the writing skills, you will see there's 1 mark for presentation. So you remember, all your writing skills have to be very neatly done. Here in report writing again, content 2 marks, accuracy of language 1 mark, appropriateness 1 mark. Interview writing, appropriate framing of questions, very important. Language style 1 mark and overall impression. So neatness they are going to see 1 mark again. Speech writing, logical sequence of ideas 2 marks. Introduction, how you are going to start the introduction and conclusion. See, conclusion introduction is very important in speech writing. That's one thing that they're going to notice. So 1 mark each for that. So total 4 marks. Art of comparing, how you're connecting the events, impressive introduction and summing up. Everything is important here. You have to end it with a vote of thanks for this. Okay. Okay. So now next slide is going to talk about the other writing skills, expansion of idea. 2 marks, how you're going to expand the idea, very important. Proper introduction, conclusion, 1 mark for each. In film review, presentation of the theme and the storyline, 2 marks for that. I have noticed in film review, when a child doesn't know what to write, he will write the story in all the 4 paragraphs. The teacher is going to read the matter. Don't think that, the teacher is not going to read all the 4 paragraphs. If you write the story where you're supposed to write only the second paragraph of the film review, isn't it? Okay, technical details, overall presentation, very important. 1 mark for that. Blog writing, main content, 2 marks. Header, menu, navigation bar. Now this means whatever I drew, like I showed you the details, that is 1 mark. Header carries 1 mark. Footer carries 1 mark. Main content carries 2 marks. Remember, I told you without header and footer, if you just write the main content, how much marks you are going to lose. So if you just by heart the details of the header and footer, it's going to be really beneficial for you. So go for it. Please learn by heart the details of the header and footer and go for it. Next is appeal writing. Presentation of content carries 2 marks. Convincing language, 1 mark. And inspiring message, 1 mark. Total 4 marks for this. Remember, don't use colors in appeal and leaflet. Summary writing, accepting any title, any suitable title, 1 mark for that. How you have presented. See, for 3 marks, this carries 3 marks, right? Summary writing carries 3 marks. All our writing skills carried 4 marks each. But summary writing, we have 3 marks. Mind mapping also 3 marks. So here, for a normal handwriting, if you would ask me the proper length, it should at least come in between 9 to 12 lines, or in somewhere in between 8 to 12 lines or 9 to 12 lines. That would be enough. If you're writing more than that, that means you have written something extra. That means you don't know to summarize a passage. So take care of that. And also you have to write all the important points, very important. You can't lose any points. Yes, so presentation carries 1 mark. So 1 mark for everything. Title 1, presentation 1, and this also 1. Mind mapping presentation, like I told you when I drew it also, I told you it's very, very important. 1 mark for the presentation. Let me tell you, children, if you're mind mapping, if the content is good and the presentation and handwriting is bad, you're going to drastically lose marks, let me tell you. And mind mapping presentation is very important. It should really look neat, really neat, very, very neat. Okay, it's very important. Please do the mind mapping section because there is no option. In summary writing and mind mapping, it's a compulsory question. There's no option. So do this question well. You have to cover all the points also in mind mapping. Okay. So next slide, we move on to slowly. Yeah, now these are the things. These are the grammar topics that I have mentioned. We have the 3 different types of sentences, like simple, compound, complex. Then the other types of sentences like assertive, negative, affirmative, exclamatory, interrogative, and imperative sentences. Modal auxiliary verb, active and passive voice, modal auxiliary verbs, transitive, intransitive, finite, infinite verbs, tense chart, degrees of comparison, general transformation of sentences, wherein you are supposed to frame the questions, negatives, joining sentences, etc. Like, no, sooner than, all those things can come under here. If, whether, all those things. Next, we have direct, indirect speech. Now, in direct, indirect speech, see that you don't make any mistakes. See that every word you see, like is, will become was. Sometimes shouldn't forget. Each and every verb, the main verb, auxiliary verb, finite verb, all those verbs, you please see and do this particular topic very nicely. Please have a lot of practice for this speech part. Infinite verb, gerund, participles, WH questions, rhetorical questions, articles, prepositions, and clauses. Okay. Clauses, usually this is not asked in the exams, but please be prepared with just simple types of clauses, the 3 types of clauses. See that you know the main clause and the independent clause. That's it. Yes, articles, prepositions also may or may not come. Okay, so you must just be prepared with all these topics. Okay. Now next is, we have the list of activities for testing comprehension. That means in your question 1, your seen passage and unseen passage, question 1 and 2, okay? You will be tested in this way. These are the list of activities that I've mentioned here, okay, for just testing your comprehensive skills. So we have complete the following sentences with the information from the text. Then we have fill in the blanks with correct information from the passage. State whether the following statements are true or false. Correct the false statements. State which of the following statements are correct. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you here, reading the instruction is very important. Actually, the whole of the paper, see that you're reading the instruction. Read the instructions properly. What happens is sometimes they will ask you, see, read the second, third, and fourth point. Read properly. What are they asking you to do? Are they asking you to write all the 4 sentences and then state true or false? Or are they just asking you to pick out any 2 correct statements which talk about the theme of the passage? So read the question properly. Sometimes children just write true or false, true or false. Write the whole statement. Even if it, if it comes in fill in the blanks also, any fill in the blanks statement in the whole of the paper, any match the column, fill in the blank, any objective kind of things, just write the whole statement. But in grammar, don't write the question, just write the answers. Okay. So true or false, again, I repeat, write the whole statement and then write whether it's true or false. And just don't write the first letter T. Write TRUE, the whole thing you are supposed to write. Okay. So true, whether it's true or false. Your marks will be cut, remember, if you don't write the statements in true or false. Okay. Okay. So read the instructions. Then we have arranged the following events in order. That's the chronological form. Complete the following table of information and facts. Now, then we have matched the pairs and complete the flow chart. Wherever you have web diagrams, like we have the flow chart and the previous point that spoke about the table. Okay. Any table form, any flow chart, any web diagram, draw it, but with a pen. Choose the correct reasons. Sometimes you give reasons. Find the passage evidence for the following statements. Do that. Find odd man out. Rewrite the sentences by correcting the words which are underlined. Supply the following information. See, all these instructions will be given. You have to just read, understand, and answer. Complete the table of comparison. Complete the table of cause and effect. We move on to the next slide, which is going to talk about the list of activities for testing vocabulary. Till now, we saw list of activities for testing comprehension. So next, we are going to see for vocabulary. We have fill in the blanks. Okay. Match the pairs of words having similar meaning. Match the opposite words. Match the phrases with their meanings. Fill in the blanks with appropriate phrases. Find the odd word out. Choose the correct spelling. Give one word for the following. Use prefix. Now, instead of prefix, they may ask, suffix also can come sometimes. So use prefix to make the opposite word. Put words of similar meaning in the boxes. Put the words in ascending and descending order. Replace the underlined word with appropriate word from the passage. Then we have form words from the given word. And then we have identify the word class. Now here it means part of speech, means whether it's a noun, verb, adjective, adverb, that also can come. Okay. The next slide will talk about, let's see what's the next slide. Yes, now these are the important instructions which will be actually given to you in the paper in the beginning. Now some instructions will be given, like some that I have put out here in the slide, some are not given, some are given. Let me read everything first. The first point. Each activity has to be answered in complete sentence or sentences. Answers written in only one word will not be given complete credit. Yeah, very important. When a question is asked to you, please see that you answer it in complete sentences. Sometimes they give you, give reasons. So children will start from because. No, you can't do that. You write the whole statement and then you write because. Even in complete the following, if they ask you, write the whole question, okay, whatever question they have given you, and then complete the line. Write your answers in full. Okay, otherwise your marks will be cut. The second important instruction is web diagrams, flowcharts, tables, etc. are to be presented exactly as they are with appropriate answers. These web diagrams, etc. and the boxes which is used for writing skills also need to be done in pen. The images for leaflet writing and blog writing also must be drawn with a pen and not with a pencil. So sometimes if, sorry, if there is no place, usually what children will do, what they will do is they will not draw the web diagram properly. They will draw it in a very different fashion, which is not acceptable, children. You can't do that. You have to draw the way it is drawn, even flowchart, any table. Draw exactly the way it is drawn. And remember, one thing I'm reminded of is even in writing skills, if you have no place to draw a particular skill, for example, let me take virtual message. That's the first thing that you're going to draw, isn't it? If you have chosen virtual message, after drawing virtual message, the second question, if you're going to draw email, okay, if you have to attempt email writing, use the next page. Don't immediately write email writing after virtual message. It will not look neat. For every writing skill, take a different page. Okay. Similarly, what happens is I've noticed in summary writing, after summary writing, there is no place to draw mind mapping. Okay. So children will try to squeeze, try to squeeze in with whatever little space they are left with, don't do that. Take another page, take a new page. Very important for mind mapping. If it has to be presentable, if it has to look neat, please take a fresh new page. Very important for mind mapping. Please take a complete new page. Okay. Even if your 3/4 page is left in the previous section, you please take a new page for your mind mapping. Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to tell you. So your web diagrams, flowchart, it has to be drawn with pen. Nowhere you're going to use a pencil. And even the images, like I told you in the writing section, you are going to use a pen. No color pencils and no proper pencils also. The third point is use of color pencils is not allowed, only blue, black pens. Yeah, now you can't use blue pen on one page and on the other page you're using black. Sometimes even to draw a leaflet writing, children will use both the inks, blue and black. No, you can't do that. You have to, suppose if the full paper you have been writing in black pen, use the whole black pen for all the activities, okay? The fourth important instruction, multiple answers to the same activity will be treated as wrong and will not be given any credit. There are some children who are not very confident and they do this. They give you not one answer, but multiple answers. And everyone knows that's not acceptable. No marks will be given. The fifth point, maintain the sequence of the sections, the questions, the numbers, the activities throughout the activity sheet. You can't jump on to the fourth question. Let me do writing skills first, and then let me do novel first, second, and then let me go on to question 1, 2, and 3. No, not acceptable. Don't do this. You please do it sequence wise. You have to attempt the first question, then the second question, then the third. That is first the seen passage, second is your unseen passage, third is your poetry section, then next comes your writing skill section, and last is your novel section. So please do that accordingly. Go sequence wise. That is the meaning of the fifth point. Maintain the sequence of the section. See, this must be, you will say this was allowed in your school days, in your 10th standard and whatever. But in 12th, it's not allowed. Even in 11th, even in 12th, it's not allowed. Attempt it sequence wise. If you are going to fumble with a particular question, if you don't know how to, answer a particular question, leave that space, go to the next question. But don't attempt that after question 5. Novel लिखने के बाद नहीं. Don't attempt question 2 after question 5. You will do question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please maintain the sequence of the sections and the questions and numbers and activities and everything. Leave space if you don't know anything. But see that you write it also after your paper is done. The sixth is revealing any kind of contact details in the answer paper is not allowed. For example, in your writing in your this leaflet and email writing, okay, you can't write the name of your college, your name, or your phone number. No, in the board paper, revealing your contact details is not acceptable. You can't do this. Okay, so remember that point also. We move on to the next slide slowly. Yes, we have the time management that I've been speaking to you. Okay, in the time management, you will see we have 20 minutes for the first question A, that is the 12 mark section. We have 20 minutes for that. And only 5 minutes for grammar is given. So in total, we have 25 marks for the first question. Similarly, for the second question, we have 40. Why? Because 18 marks thoda jada hai, right? So 25 minutes approximately you must take to write the activity questions, 7 minutes for summary writing, and 8 minutes for mind mapping. Okay. Then we have the poetry section. In total, 14 marks. You must take at least 25 minutes for that. So 10 minutes for the appreciation, 15 minutes for the activity-based questions. Let's move on to the fourth question. Writing skills, you will notice 40 marks in total, so 10 minutes for each writing skill. Similarly, 40 minutes for the last section, for the novel section also, 10 minutes for each writing section. So you must have noticed, children, for a 4-mark question, you need to have 10 minutes in your hand. Okay. But here you will see, where in grammar, you have 4 marks here. Grammar. Now there they have written 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Notice that. That's because the grammar questions are, you only have to write 4 sentences. So it will not take 10 minutes. But here, yes, for these 4-mark questions, you can take 10 minutes for each. So now if you total up all the 5 questions, 25 plus 40 plus 25 plus 40 plus 40, it comes up to 170. Okay. Now if you see this, for cross check, we have given you 10 minutes to cross check. So whatever you have left out, you want to check, you have to have a final look at your paper. There are 10 minutes for that. So your grand total comes up to 180 marks. We move on to the next slide. Let's see what the next slide. Oh, yes. Now, this is the question paper. We have important instructions on the very first paper. Now, these important instructions I have already discussed with you. Okay, so nothing to worry. Nothing to worry. We won't be going into much detail of the sample paper because already I have explained all the details from question 1 to question 5. Okay, so this is a sample paper, like where the passage is given to you. This is the second slide of the sample paper. This is the Feb 2024 paper. I know it's coming blurred. So you have the objective kind questions. Then I'm moving to the 5th slide. Options are given in grammar, by the way. That's good news for you. But please don't depend on the options for grammar because the options, the alternatives are going to confuse you more. I'm telling you that. Now we are on the second question. Again, you can see a passage. A passage is given, an unseen passage. Again, activity questions. We have a table. I don't think so. You can see a table over here. So you have to draw the table over here if any table is provided to you. Then we have match the words. Okay, so you can draw that also. Again, to draw that, everything you please use a pen only, okay? Don't use a pencil anywhere. Okay. Then we have the third question wherein we have the poem. You can see the poem is printed. Remember the name of the poem and the poet is not given. You need to by heart that. Again, you can see there is a table. This is the 7th poem, okay? She walks in duty. So you can see there's a web diagram given here. Very beautifully they have drawn. So you also need to draw it very nicely in your exam with proper alignment. Always remember, children, in English also, neatness, presentation, good handwriting is always required. Now, in appreciation, you must have noticed only 3 stanzas are there. So which poem was asked? The Inchcape Rock. Now, the Inchcape Rock is quite a huge poem. So they are not going to print the whole poem. Only 3 or 4 stanzas will be printed and questions will be based only on those. Okay. Yeah. By the way, this has come for appreciation. Remember, this is the second poem that they have printed and it has come for appreciation. But you have to appreciate the whole poem. Whatever you have studied, whatever 6 points you have studied for appreciation, you have to write all the points. Okay, you just can't write on only these 3 stanzas. They have just given you some 3 stanzas. Now next from here starts the third section. The third section means question number 4. That is the writing skills. You must have noticed here they have written the question. This is the question for the virtual message. So questions will be given. Now here this is the question for the SOP. That is the statement of purpose or group discussion. So this is a question for group discussion. Last year they had asked, okay, you have attended a guest lecture on career development. Write a group discussion in the form of a dialogue associated with the lecture with 3 to 4. See, now here they have written 3 to 4 student participants. So you see, then you go for 3 to 4. Now the next one is email. We have email, report, and interview. So the B section will talk about email. So after email, we have report writing. Then we have interview writing. Now interview writing here they have written, you have to conduct an interview of a famous actor with the help of the format given below. So here the instruction is with the help of the format. Now draft the questions on the given fields. Do not change the sequence. See, what's a clear instruction given to you here is you can't write first role model and then family support. Don't change the sequence of the questions that they have given you in the table. Follow the same pattern, okay? The same sequence. If they have not given you the table, then you can create your own questions. Like usually it's not done. Only once it had happened. In one board exam, they had not given. I hope they give you every year. After interview writing, what's this? Okay, 1 minute. Next. Okay. So see, this is the way they have given you. See the table. Okay, they've given you name of the interviewee, field, that is the area of success, date, venue, time, all those things. They've given you the points over here. So you have to write the answers on the right hand side. So in the exam, you please write the points on the left also and your answers on the right. Both the tables you have to draw. Okay. Now they have not drawn it properly. Sometimes they may not draw it properly, but you please take a pen, for drawing this table. See that you don't draw lines in between these points. It will take a lot of time. Okay. The outer table, okay, you draw it with a pen. Next, we have speech, and then we have art of comparing. See, sometimes children, they give you points. Now here in art of comparing, they have given you points. Like start with the prayer, lighting of the lamp, introduction, felicitation. Sometimes they may not give you. In some writing skills, they may give you. In some writing skills, they may not give you. Your work is to read all the points for all the formats, all the writing skills. Now, next is expansion of idea. Again, some points are given here. Again, in the next review here, in film review, oh, no. Last year, they had asked you on a book. See, book/magazine. You have to prepare yourself for all this. So 4 points are given to you here. Again, in blog writing, some points are given. And the last one is appeal. Here again, some points are given to you. Okay, so points may or may not be given. Now, the 5th section, children, you will not be able to see it clearly because it's blurred. I'm sorry for that. But what they have given you in the beginning is they have given you match the column. Okay, match the column is the first thing given. Second is the fill in the blanks. Now, fill in the blanks, again, they have given you the options. You're lucky. You're lucky. Options are given. Yeah. Again, let me tell you one thing. Suppose children, if there is a mistake in the question paper. Mistake in the sense if there is any spelling mistake. And if you know the correct spelling, you can write the correct spelling. And if there is a mistake and if you copy the same mistake, your marks won't be cut. Okay. For example, if, it has happened twice. If there is a mistake from the board side, sometimes it happened once. They gave you the answer for the figure of speech. It is inversion. Okay. If anything happens, such a case happens. Okay. If such a case arises, what you do is you write something at least. Okay, don't leave that space. Okay, write something at least, because otherwise you will not get marks. You have to at least write the question number and write, maybe you can write the question only or whatever they have given you. Okay, and in case if there is any spelling mistake, you can write the same spelling because your marks won't be cut. If you know the correct spelling, you can write. For example, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Chattopadhyay spelling, usually children write it incorrectly. So there you can just write the correct spelling if you know. Okay. So we will do the B section of question 5. In B section, we have the 3 novels. So two questions are asked in each of the division. 2 questions in B, 2 in C, 2 in D. So that we come to an end to the question paper, the sample paper of 2024. And this is the last slide here. We are going to discuss about the marking scheme for the oral test. Okay, with the marking scheme for the oral test, let me tell you, there are 10 marks for listening, 10 marks for speaking. Okay, now 10 marks for listening means the first 5 marks sentences will be dictated and you have to write. Okay, the first 5 marks are for just you have to listen the sentences. You have to understand what was the word dictated by the teacher, and you have to rewrite it. Okay. So your, art of listening is very important. This skill, focus. You can't talk to anybody when the teacher is dictating because she's not going to repeat it again. Okay. She's not going to repeat it. So you have to Focus on the word, listen to the details, retain the matter, retain those words, and then accurately write it. So there are marks, 1 mark, 2 marks, 2 marks. So 1 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, 1 plus 2 plus 2, listening to a sentence. Okay, this is 5 marks. This carries 5 marks. The next 5 marks, you have to listen to a short poem or you have to listen to a short story. Now that depends on the teacher. She may either dictate, she may either tell you a poem or she may either describe a story to you. It depends on her. So here, the poem, if she's going to give you a poem, she may give you questions based on the gist. Okay, what did you understand? So 2 marks for that. Then she may ask you a few figures of speech, 1 mark for that, or rhyme scheme. Okay, or any other poetic device, some question she can ask you, like how we ask you for the written paper. Okay, so that's one thing. So 5 marks for this, gist, the figures of speech, and the rhyming words. So listening to a short poem. Okay. Now next is listening to a short story. If she's not going to give you a poem, she will give you a story. You have to hear a story. Now in the story, usually what will be asked? Again, the first question will be based on the theme. Second will be, what did you learn? Okay, what's the moral? What is the value that you have learned from the story? Third is your self-opinion. Some question based on some self-opinion she will ask you, or it can be a message also, or opinion, whatever. Now that depends on the teacher, what question she will ask you. So this is 5 marks, okay? So here any one can come, either a poem or a story. So we have 5 plus 5 and we are left with 10 marks over here. Now here, if the teacher is going to choose a GD activity, she will form a group of children wherein, there may be some 7 to 8 students in one group. Okay. So, she'll come up with a topic spontaneously. A topic will be given. And then the children have to discuss on that particular topic. Okay. So 10 marks for that only. Now here, why, if you ask me 10 marks just for speaking GD, I'll tell you the marks are based on what? Here, comprehension. Okay, 2 marks for comprehension. How do you comprehend your discussion? Okay, whether you have understood, not understood, or you're just speaking. Second is your preparation. How well prepared you are. Again, 2 marks for that. Then we have 2 marks for BL. Now your BL refers to your body language. Okay, the teacher is going to see your body language, your tone, your vocabulary, and also the sentence structure, the grammar. Okay, how well your English is, how fluent you are. Next 2 marks goes for your context, your novelty, and fluency. Are you stammering or are you speaking in a flow? Are you fluent with the ideas that you have presented? All those things will come under this section. So 2 marks for that. Then the last 2 marks goes for communication, inference, and summarizing. How you are going to summarize it. For example, now when I do oral test, I tell the child, whoever is the monitor, okay, remember who's going to sum up, who's going to conclude. So the person who's going to conclude, he has to bring about all the points discussed by all the participants, okay? And then he has to conclude it in a very nice way. So that goes for your summarizing. You have to summarize it in a very good way, a good fashion. So this is for your GD. I mean for your I usually take GD. Now if not GD, now what, for example, some children will not be confident in communicating in front of the whole class. Now they don't want to do GD. Nahi karna hai. So for such students, we can ask them to speak on a particular topic. Okay, a particular topic will be given. For example, speech writing also can be done with them, or they can introduce themselves. Okay, a good introduction, or any such topic can be given by the teacher. Okay, and the child, the student can speak in front of the teacher and not in front of the class. If he or she, is hesitant to speak in front of the whole class. Okay. So that is one thing. So remember, and there are many other things. Don't worry too much for the speech thing. Either GD or introduce yourself or any topic. It's like up to you. If the child is going to be like very scared or something, we'll allow the child to speak whatever he wants. Okay, don't worry. Just be prepared with any one topic. We're just actually just going to credit you on these 5 points. These 5 points are mainly important. Whether you're choosing introduction or group discussion, or you're going to talk about any speech, if you're going to give any speech, you will be credited on these 5 points. Okay, that is mentioned over here. So this is the marking scheme for the oral test. Okay. Yeah, so we are done with all the slides. Okay. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the rough sheet. I have already explained. Okay. I spoke about the rough sheet. Now, children, rough sheet can be used, like in the beginning, I told you, you can use it for summary writing. Where else can you use rough sheet? Come on, tell me. You can use it for summary writing. You can use it for creating poetic lines. Okay. See, for creating poetic lines, you need some rough work, some rough space you need. So do it on the last side, your rough work. Okay. Write it there. You write whatever you want to write, create some 4 poetic lines and do it. So use that. Where else you can use? Even in leaflet and appeal writing, you need to, write some slogans. So there again, you need some rough space. So rough space can be used for poetic lines, for summary writing and leaflet writing. And any other area, if you want to use your rough work, you can use it. Okay. That's not a problem. So rough sheet, please use it wisely. But just see that you don't use a pen. Rough sheet has to be used only with the help of a pencil. Clear? You all have to start studying right now because we don't have much time. Okay. Reading the instructions and writing answers in full sentences is very important, children. Okay. So I wish you all the best for your coming exams. Please do well. Follow all the instructions that I've given you. Okay, I hope you have seen all the slides except for the sample paper, which was a bit blurred. Otherwise, I hope you have understood everything. Okay. You must go through all the last year papers also. See, 2022 was the first year. Okay, that was the pandemic year. So 2022, 23, 24 plus July paper, you have 22 and 23. So in all, you have 5 papers, which you can refer. You can refer to 5 different papers. That is March 22, not March, sorry, Feb 22, Feb 23, Feb 24, and July 22, okay, and 23. And 24 also, that comes to 6, right? Yeah, 6 papers in, not 5. You have 6 papers to refer to then. Go through all those papers, and if there is any mistake in the question paper, don't worry. You will, like your marks will not be cut. Marks will be credited to you because it's the mistake from the board side. Okay. So all the best. I hope I have covered all the points that I wished to give it to you, all students. Okay. Thank you so much. All the best. Do well. Read the paper properly. Read the instructions. And thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.